Hello, I'm Sasha Spielvogel, and I'm the Artistic Director of Labyrinth Dance Theater. And we're here today to talk about an upcoming dance called Five Stalks of Wheat, an anti-war ballet inspired by the unfortunate events in Ukraine. To my right is Felicia Norton, the solo dancer. The dance will be about 20 minutes. We're in rehearsal now. We're creating it. And this is Andy Didorenko, the composer, who is actually Ukrainian. And so I wanted a Ukrainian composer who I felt, because I thought only someone from Ukraine could really express the feelings, the music, the language found inherent to the Ukrainian culture. So I've known Felicia Norton for many years. We've done about 12 dances together. She's a soloist, beautiful soloist. And what would you like to say about the creation of this piece?
Wow. Well, at first I was probably a little bit wondering how to engage with the feelings of what's happening in Ukraine. And always working with Sasha, you go into the Labyrinth Dance Theater, and you explore all that. You don't bypass it. So she had written out a scenario, and it included Holodomor, which she'll probably talk about, which I had never heard of before. And there's many different changes of mood and scenes. So we've been working, and it's been quite a process and very fulfilling in a way as a mover and a dancer to go through all these different modes of being and states of being.
And I want to say one of the sections that's in this piece is about Holodomor, which many people have not heard of. It was actually a forced starvation by Stalin in 1932 and 1933, where about 4 million Ukrainians were effectually starved to death. And there's a very beautiful evocative statue outside of a park in Ukraine, and there's actually one in Toronto, Canada, too. It's the statue's about this big. I think it's a bronze statue, and it's a young girl in braids, and she's holding 5 stalks of wheat. And the reason this dance is called 5 stalks of wheat is because nobody could have more than 5 stalks of wheat. Otherwise, they were killed, imprisoned. The wheat was taken away from them, so there was no food. And the statue looks very much like Felicia. And we have a section of that where she's in braids. We have Stalin's voice. We have collective farming. And Andy can talk a little bit more about how he's created the sections and the opening and the Ukrainian music and poems and songs.
Sure. I'm just very happy to be working on this project. I think it's fantastic. And
as we are happy to work with you. It's a very nice collaboration.
Yes, but I had to do a lot of research, to see which music fits, and also it's very artistic in one way, but on the other hand, it's almost like a documentary sometimes, because we do use the real sounds, let's say, of the air raid, in Kharkiv, or we use the voices of people who are trying to stop tanks right on the streets. So. And I also watched the whole documentary about Holodomor. It's devastating. I mean, it's so I have very mixed feeling. I'm happy to be working on beautiful music, and we use a lot of Ukrainian folk tunes, which is, that's so beautiful, and so I don't know, it's close to my heart
because I'm next to the culture.
Yeah.
You're from there.
Right, because I'm from Dnipro. Right, but on the other hand, it is devastating because we have to see again everything that happens, like hear the Stalin's talking, and that's terrible, the collective farms and what's happening today, actually.
Andy just shared with us some news about his hometown.
Right.
What's
right.
going
we had
on?
the terrible tragedy which happened just yesterday, and the residential building was destroyed completely, and so many people killed, and it's right next to my elementary school. So I don't know.
And also, a friend of your mother's sent you a video
Right.
that she took from her apartment
Right.
building,
She
I think.
took the video from the smoke, and and people coming to rescue, and and the whole is the kids who come in from school shocked. The situation is really devastating.
So I think what artists do in response to tragedies in the world, we try to put it into our creations, whatever medium. Felicia will dance about it. I will create it with this is a very nice collaboration with everybody. And Andy will do his music, which is very evocative. It's recorded. So as Andy said, we have, bombs and guns. And it is a serious dance, but it's a lyrical, narrative, theatrical, beautiful dance. We hope that there will be a victory, Slava Ukraini. And we hope that there will be seeds and sunflowers and wheat growing again. The costume is by Aviad Herman. There's an underdress that's a wheat color that Felicia dances with to show Holodomor and the country rising and the fertileness of the land that was taken away. But the opening and the ending has a very beautiful skirt that's blue on the top, yellow on the bottom, with a crown of wheat with blue and yellow ribbons that shows the integrity and strength of the country. One of the beauties of collaborating with Felicia and Andy has been that they both are willing to try things.
The one section we had, which we changed for 4 times, I think, and they kept changing it again and again. But at first I came up with the beautiful melody on the violin, but
Andy plays the violin, by the way.
But eventually we decided it doesn't really suit, beautiful as it was. We've changed it
Didn't quite
again,
work.
and eventually, we came up with some very simple, flat sound, distorted sound. But that way, I think it works much better with the dance and with the idea.
And as a dancer, it's amazing because we're going, as I said, through all this different terrain, but then each musical section is, like there's a Passacaglia that's amazing to dance to, just gorgeous. And that's where you get to really express yourself and get into the fighting. And Holodomor is kind of poignant and sad, and then there's a rape scene, and then there's war, and then I actually put on a helmet on war. And so it's as a dancer, it's a beautiful challenge and also fulfillment to be able to express all those different modes and go into those different so-called terrains. And so what's beautiful is Sasha created a scenario that it's like you're going through tremendous different modes of being. And with the music too, it's just constantly changing, and it's very fulfilling, very beautiful to work with.
I'm glad that the music that I'm working on is so...
It's great.
It's great.
But it's diverse also.
Yes,
right?
It keeps changing.
I-
It shifts
yes,
modes. The modes are so different. Yeah.
I have the opportunity to take the very simple folk tune. On the other hand, I have moments which it switches to avant-garde and something
More abstract.
more abstract.
And the war. Also, as Andy said, you used the voice of that woman who's trying to, literally in this town, stop the tanks coming. She's on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
So it's both, romantic isn't the word, but narrative, but also very real with a lot of the sounds. It's a sound score.
And it's also juxtaposed with the beauty of the costume. Is it's like I get to wear like a crown of wheat, which is something I love to do, and also relate to the earth and the feeling of like reviving the earth at the end, growing things growing back, and we have sunflower seeds and sunflowers, but there's like this feeling of
Regeneration, maybe.
woman in the earth and that connection to and regeneration.
And also the strength of the woman, because a lot of the women are going to war in Ukraine and they are fighting. But then afterwards you have this remorse, sadness, and you call it shell shock, like I had to do this, I didn't want to, but I'm defending my country.